Welcome everybody. Welcome to G's Star Room. You are all stars and we are going to walk through the energy of the stars up in the sky and talk about the new moon. We have a new moon in the month of February. Let's get rid of some of this. Let's see what we can see. Let's take a walk together energetically. Now, new moons, the power, the intentions, the wishing, the hoping, the dreaming. It's a time of writing down what it is that you want. The power of the new moon is intense. It's so intense and it's so powerful. It has the ability to make that which you wish come true. It's the moon and the sun together right on top of each other. So the moon represents your emotions and your feelings, right? And when you have your feelings and your emotions focused like a laser beam, it is that actually is the fuel to what it is that you want, to your dream. And when you add fuel to what it is that you want, it has the possibility to actually become, to manifest, to take shape and form and appear in your material world. So we're going to take the dates. Let me see what I've got written down here. We're doing this a little bit differently. Normally I would have the chart in front of you. I'm going to try something different, and then please give me feedback down below. Let me know what you think of this new style. So it's February, right? February 2021 new moon, and we're looking at February 11th. Now the time is important because if you set your intentions around that time, usually they say there's a magical 8-hour window for intention setting. So keep in mind for those out there who are focused on manifesting what it is that they want. Some believe in this, some don't. But intention setting time is typically within that 8-hour window of a new moon. Now, there are more details about this. You can get a book by Jan Spiller. I've mentioned her in the past. I believe it's S-P-I-L-L-E-R, Jan Spiller. And she goes into great detail. And so you can look into that and read up on that for yourself and find out. And then as I did do, and what I would recommend is to experiment with it. Do not take my word for it. Figure it out, experiment, take notes, observe, because that's what experimenting involves. Having patience, observing, testing, looking for confirmation, and then a demonstration, a visual, a confirmation of that which you asked for. So with all that in mind, new moons are a time of beginnings, a new beginning. So we're looking at February 11th. So at that time on that day, we have the sun and the moon matching up together identically at 23 degrees. All right, 23 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. So the moon, again, is the power of the emotions. It's what you desire, but it's fueled by that which emotionally satisfies you. And that gives the energy to your wish. Now, because it's a conjunction, meaning they're together, it's on top of the sun. The sun is another form of fuel, another form of energy, another form of life being added to that which you desire, life being added to that which you want for your emotional security and satisfaction in life. So think about that, right? The sun and the moon together. When we break down what they mean, it seems almost just very logical, right? Very logical. Well, of course this would work, right? You've got fuel and more fuel adding to your emotions, but it's that laser beam focus that's very important to make your dream come true. So Aquarian energy is what we got to talk about because we've got the sun and the moon in Aquarius. So Aquarius energy is science. So when we think about science in the year of 2021, the year of 2020, we're thinking the virus, right? We're thinking of the vaccine, we're thinking of the medicine and the advancements for humanity, because Aquarius is advancements for humanity. The inventor, Nikola Tesla energy. This is like Madame Curie, right? We've got all these wonderful advancements, things that helped humanity progress, that helped better it in some way. A sign of Aquarius is not just science, but it is tech, it is gadgets, it's electricity, right? Nikola Tesla, it's electricity. So many times the internet, okay? The internet is a big deal. But inventions, right? The airplane, the automobile. And we say airplane and automobile, but trains as well would fall into this category because it's group energy. It's groups. That's Aquarius. It's lots of people together. Aquarian energy is my friendships. It's not just one or two, but it's all the people that I congregate with. And we have a common goal. We have a group goal. We have something that it's an altruistic goal, right? It's like, but this isn't just for me and it isn't just for them. It's for all of us. And it's, I heard a quote somebody say the other day, and they were like, yeah, I want to be this great person and I want to be known for this, but I don't want that to be the sole thing that I'm remembered for. I want to be remembered for the person that helped others. And that is an altruistic goal. That is something where it's not about the money. It's about, I have a higher calling, a higher serving. And that is the sign of Aquarius, the server of the group, the server of the many. It's really how a politician and anybody who helps the public, it's really how they are supposed to be expressing that energy on a high level. It would be this Aquarian age energy. So this is fascinating, right? Fascinating when we talk about the sun and the moon in the sign of Aquarius. So advancements for humanity, it is technology, so it's airlines, anything where we are as a group of people congregating or transportation, right? But we also can't ignore the internet. This is a big deal. It's a way where people can come together and communicate and relate because it's an air sign. It's the sign of Aquarius. It's air. It's fixed air. Air represents thinking and talking and communication. But this is higher level thinking because the planet Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius energy. And Uranus is like the mind of God coming in. And so we get great ideas, right? That's why these advancements come through. That's why you've got the scientists, right? Where all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I have this great idea. No, you've got this connection going on. Your antenna's up really high and you can hear the voice of God coming through. And may not be, a voice of a gender. It may just be like this great idea that pops in. We are all different, so we're all going to hear differently. We're all going to be very unique into how the information comes to us. Some comes through in dreams. Some it comes through when we're doing dishes. Some it comes through when we're in the bathroom. So it's very unique and individualistic. Now, individualistic is a really good word for the sign of Aquarius because even though we're talking about group energy, you are not supposed to disappear within the group. It is that sign that says, okay, it's time for you to show how you are unique within the group. Okay, we have to talk about the energy in a very holistic way, which is, if we're talking about Aquarian energy, at the opposite end of it is Leo energy. And Leo energy is how I shine and radiate, right? And they run along the same polarity. It's Leo and then it's Aquarius. Leo is me and it's just myself. And I've got the spotlight on me. Whereas here is the group. I know, isn't that magical? So it's that tricky lighter. But it's the group, and it's how I can shine within the group, not sacrificing the group, but a part of the group, right? Taking into consideration the group's needs, what would be good for the group, but at the same time, I still shine. Aquarius energy, we've got the sun and the moon, 23 degrees. We have Mercury at 16 degrees. Now, Mercury began its retrograde roughly at the butt end of January. What happens when we have a Mercury retrograde? It's a redo, it's a rethink, we are digging deeper, we're looking for information that we didn't have before, right? So you could find yourself rethinking things, you can find yourself, I like to refer to it as watching a rerun, right? Or rereading a book. You know how you reread a book and you're like, oh my God, I read this before, but I didn't get this out of it. Or I watched that movie before, but yeah, there were things I missed the first time. And that's what a Mercury retrograde is. It gives you a chance to review something. It's like an opportunity to redo. So Mercury retrograde's happening. We'll be in a Mercury retrograde zone all the way until March. I did a video on this already. It's like March 13th or something like that. So in other words, that tells you in your life, when you know where the Aquarian energy is, and if you know where 28 degrees or 26 degrees of Aquarius, and I think, oh yeah, that might be where my degrees are off. 26 degrees of Aquarius and 13 degrees of Aquarius energy. Then you know what area of your life, you can find out what house number it's in, and that'll tell you what you're redoing or what you're rethinking or what you're reviewing. The whole point of the review is to get more information. And when we get more information, we have more knowledge. And when we have more knowledge, we can make better decisions because we have more of the information in front of us. So think of it like a judge. Think of a judge when you go to court. What happens with the judge? Both sides present their case to him. I know I'm using judge, and it's probably, anyway, getting political, but this has I'm not intending to be political, but it's just, yeah. So think of yourself, you're the judge sitting there, and both sides have an opportunity to present the information, to present their facts. It is the judge, when he sits there and he looks, or she, and goes through the information, the more information they have, the better, because then they can balance everything equally, well, hopefully, right? And say, okay, now that I've got this and I've got this, now I can make a better decision. I think I have all the facts that I need. And that is what you want. You want to use your Mercury retrograde to your advantage. Now, what I will say is that when we're in a Mercury retrograde, because it's in the sign of Aquarius, typically what happens is there's going to be changes. There can be many disruptions with technology. So this can be disruptions depending upon the location of your Aquarian energy in your chart. There could be many disruptions in your life. It could be with things in your home. It could be the actual, your devices that you're using. It could be, your keyboards. It could be the screens. It could be your internet provider, without a doubt. You could all of a sudden, see the thing constantly going through a refresh mode. So there could definitely be the little quirks and hiccups and delays going on with that, because that is typical of Mercury retrogrades. Remember, during Mercury retrogrades, you want to definitely rethink things, but you don't typically want to make big decisions during that time. If you have to make big decisions during that time of a Mercury retrograde, what you're doing is you're asking others who are qualified for their opinion. Remember that. What's in Aquarius at this time? We've got the sun, we've got the moon, we've got Mercury at 16 degrees. We have Venus and Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter. Venus is my money. It's what I love. It's who I love. Venus is about relationships, important relationships. Venus wants things to be beautiful, wants them to be fair and balanced. Venus rules Taurus and rules Libra energy. So we have to keep all of this in mind. Venus ruling Taurus, well, we know Uranus is in Taurus right now, so keep this in mind. There could be shocks and surprises over values, right? And it could be natural resources. Lots of things probably changing. We also have this Venusian energy conjunct Jupiter. What is beautiful about this is that Jupiter represents big-time angel wings during this time, because Jupiter can expand its wings. It becomes the guardian angel. Venus and Jupiter together representing angel wings, because Venus, whenever she has any communication or any part of anything, Venus's goal is to make things more peaceful, more pleasant, to have a sense of beauty, a sense of equality. Venus likes to, there's this feeling of, I have some of this and I have some of that. Somebody left a comment not too long ago about ingredients, using those words like, in a recipe, you want to have a balance of flavors, right? And so you want to have the salty and the sweet, the crunchy, the chewy. And the whole idea is Venus comes in, and Venus says, I want this to be beautiful communication. And I'm saying this because we have Venus and Mercury in Aquarian energy. We've got 6 planets up in the sky, right? Well, 6, we've got planets, and then we've got the luminaries, right? We've got the sun, we've got the moon. They're up in the sky, all in the sign of Aquarius energy. Is, again, that technology, which is thinking, forward thinking, right? Alternative thinking, communicative. But let's not forget that being, I want to use rebellious, but not rebellious to just simply be rebellious, but standing outside of the group, being part of the group, but making sure that you are seen as an individual within the group, okay? And this is important because when you're making a new moon wish, we're focusing on our Leo energy, which is our ability to shine within the group. And it's not so much about dimming somebody else's light, therefore your light seems brighter. No, it's be the star that you are. You are the star. right? You don't have to dim another light. You don't have to take somebody else's light and snuff it out so that you look brighter. No, you just have to find what it is. What is your creative niche? What is it that you came in with that enables you to express, Leo energy, to express, to radiate, to create uniquely? Everybody was born with something. Everybody has like that special thing. Some people are like, but gee, I'm not creative at all. I don't do anything creative. That depends on your definition of creativity. Some people, they take a paintbrush. Some people go to the kitchen. Some, they go to the garden. Some, they do it in crafts. Some get a hammer and a nail and they're building things, right? Some take a pen in their hand and they're writing. Nowadays, it's like this. It's music. It's music, right? You can do anything with music. Just create something that comes from within you. Whatever your medium is, it doesn't matter. You may sing, right? It's creativity. It's artistic. It's something that is about your uniqueness and it's shining, it radiating in a unique way. So do not compare yourself with others. Find that thing that makes you you and be happy with it. Have fun with it, because that's Leo energy, having a good time. That's why when the girls show up, right, I always say it's Virgo energy. I want to clarify something. Back in the ancient times, right, the older astrologers said that Leo energy and Virgo energy were once the same. They were literally considered the same thing. There was so much compounded energy that those two created two separate things, right? So then we have Leo and then we've got Virgo, but they're very similar. There's a lot of traits and qualities and characteristics that line up. And yes, they are right after each other, right? Leo is number 5 and Virgo is number 6, right, in astrology. So Leo's the 5th house, Virgo's the 6th house. So fun, creativity, laughter, joy, this is all Leo stuff. It's how I shine, how I radiate. It is that unique thing. The sun is its ruler, right? There's warmth, there's fire. Leo is a fixed energy. Aquarius, remember, is a fixed energy. I was saying it's fixed thinking, fixed thought, fixed ways of communication. Leo is fixed creating, right? Saying I'm unique and this is the way I've always been and this is how I have a good time, this is how I laugh, this is what I do for fun. Because Aquarian energy is growing, is progressing, it can only grow and progress. The group can only grow and progress as much as the least of the one in that group, right? And that's like a basic foundational law, right? And so as each individual grows and develops, so too does the group, right? As all of us as humanity grow, develop, and evolve and become and, elevate, create a greater sense of our consciousness, which is holding ourselves accountable, being aware of our thoughts and our words with others that we relate to. And then being okay by, looking in the mirror and saying, oh my gosh, I did say that. And I maybe could have said it differently or done something differently. And holding yourself accountable doesn't mean to be mean to yourself. It just means, hey, when you do something wrong or you do something that's not so kind, it's not up to somebody else in your life to come to you and say, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. No, if you're doing it already yourself, then nobody would need to come to you. Nobody would need to correct you and say to you, hey, but it happens. We're all human and we may need that other being in our life or those other people to hold us accountable when we do not hold ourselves accountable. Again, it's not about punishment. It's not about punishment. It's more about awareness. It's about saying, okay, yeah, I did say that and I really didn't mean that. Or it came out not the way I meant it, right? And it sounded harsh. I did not intend for it to be that way. And then changing. It's not just simply recognizing, but it's making the change. Be the star, right? Be the star that you are. Shine. And that's how we truly shine individually, because then we can operate better when we're within the group and when we're with others, right? If we're taking care of ourselves, if we are moderating ourselves, right? If we are being mindful, some people call it mindfulness. If we are moderating ourselves, others don't need to be pointing fingers and moderating us. We hold ourselves accountable. We raise ourselves up. We are the ones who are responsible. And when we do that, we can function together better in a community. And that is ideally what all these planets in this Aquarius energy is. So find out where your Leo energy is in your chart, like what is the house number in your chart that it's in, because that and the Aquarian energy, it's those two houses, remember? It's those two houses where you're making changes in your life, where you're going to be changing the way that you create and the way you express and radiate and communicate, and the way you operate in a group, how you can operate a group and still shine. You don't, not in spite of the group, but with the group, and not by dimming somebody else's light, but by just increasing your own light at the same time, realizing, but I'm still part of this group. I'm still part of humanity. And so I want what's good for me, but it should also be good for my fellow human being, right? And all the beings, right? Not just the two-legged, but the four-legged and the winged beings and, the no-leggeds. For all of us, because we all live on the same planet, right? And really, we all are one family. That's ultimately the lesson. So Aquarian energy, the new moon Aquarius, find out where this is in your chart. If you don't know, leave your stuff below. I can find out for you. It's not a big deal for me to look real quickly and tell you these are the areas of your life you're working on. And your new moon intention is going to be focused on these things. And when you know this and you know the area, it helps because you are working in sync with the planetary energies. You're not working against the flow, right? This is the way the frequencies are going. This is the way they're flowing. And you want to be within that flow. You don't want to be, going against it. I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, you have free will. You have free will and you can use it at any time. That is, one of the beauties of being a human being. But you let me know how that goes for you, okay? Because when you work with the energies, with the flow of the ocean, with the flow of the water, right? If you've ever been in a stream and it's going one way, or you just watch nature and you try to see what's fighting against it, it's sometimes a losing battle and it's very difficult and you get battered and worn out. So knowing the timing, the cycles, the flow in which way the energy is going, and then working with it and knowing the quality, right? The traits I'm always saying and the characteristics of what it is will help you to truly be able to demonstrate and to show the ability to manifest that which you want for your life, for your future, for your children's future. And let's talk about children, because the group energy is that Aquarius energy. Aquarian energy, typically a lot of times we can see it as the person in charge, the parent, but the Leo energy is the children, right? What's an expression of you as an individual? Your creative expression is your child. So we can't forget that. That's important, right? Because our children are our future. And so we're making wishes at this time in this new moon, keeping all of that in mind. Now, Venus and Mercury are talking, having really good conversations because they're both in Aquarius, and I like to call them sisters. They're always having good conversations. Venus being in Aquarius is squaring Uranus, but they're not in a tight square anymore. That shock and surprise stuff, the drastic shocks and surprises of what we value has kind of moved on. But what's happening is we've got Jupiter and Venus coming upon squaring the Mars energy. And Venus will get there first because Jupiter is slower, right? So Venus will get there. What that means is it's Venus and Mars squaring up with each other. And that happens further into February. But what you're keeping in mind is that Mars isn't as combative because it's in Taurus, right? Taurus is slow to anger, all right? It's got a little bit more patience. It ultimately wants peace. And our savior here is that we've got Venus is the ruler of Taurus. Therefore, there's this, they can have a conversation. Mars in Taurus can have a nice conversation with Venus, although at times there might be a forcefulness and maybe a sense of combativeness, but it's more of a tension. Think about it as the masculine and the feminine tension. It's more like some would call it a sexual frustration. Either way, whatever it is, you let Mars express and let Mars have a healthy expression of energy. If you've got these masculine and feminine energies in your life, find ways to let it express and to create together, to do projects together. Mars does require a physical outlet. Remember that with your Mars energy. It requires a physical outlet. That's just who Mars is. And in the sign of Taurus, what Mars becomes is maybe not as combative, but it wants to get in there and do some work. and it has a sustaining energy. This is actually really good for Mars because Mars is more of the initiator, the starter, like, wants to start stuff, and lacks lasting power. Well, Taurus has lasting power. Taurus likes to finish things. So when Mars is in Taurus, it has that lasting power. It has the energy to finish stuff. Like you might find yourself going back and looking at projects you began, like creative projects, right? Maybe whatever your creative endeavors are, you might find all of a sudden you're finding the ability to finish up on them because you've got Mars in Taurus. And Mars will be in Taurus through the rest of February, all right? And so what this does is it helps us to complete things, and that's beautiful. Who does not want to complete something that they've started? The moon will move fast, right? The moon will get out of Aquarius energy, and then the moon will get into Pisces. And I want to make a mention of this, okay? This is important, because the moon going into Pisces, the moon on the big scale is the public. And we need to be aware of this, okay? Because when the moon goes into Piscean energy, now the moon is very fast moving, okay? So it's something to be aware of, but something to not be overly aware of. Have balance. To the north node and the south node, in reference to Neptune. On the 11th, on this date, Neptune is at 1937 because the nodes, the transiting nodes, are a full degree away from Neptune at this time. These nodes squaring Neptune has been a key ingredient in the pandemic, has been a key ingredient in the ugly bug, the virus. So the nodes pulling away, even that 1 degree will be a difference. Now, there are other things in the chart that create difficulties, but having the nodes pulling away will help us. Again, Mercury retrograding, this is going to create probably a lot of hiccups when it comes to transportation issues and stuff, possibly for the virus and the vaccine and stuff like that. So there might be some changes made. But overall, there's a lot of very good, powerful energy supporting us and moving forward in conquering and getting through this. Now, there's going to be some other videos I'll put out that will show you some other factors that have to do with the virus, because in all honesty, especially when I look at the United States chart, there's other things that angle up. I see this honestly, maybe not on such a horribly intensity of the pandemic and the virus, but I do see this effect lasting for the rest of 2021, likely scaled down, but we will start to really see and feel the financial burden of it. And that financial burden, it could represent, another set of series of holidays where they're still recommending to celebrate digitally and to just stay safe. So we'll see how this plays out, but I wanted to put that mention in there so that we can mentally prepare. As a good friend recently reminded me to just make sure that it's okay to share the information, because people need time to mentally prepare. And so just be prepared, because remember, the nodes in Gemini will be there for the rest of 2021. And 2021 with the nodes in Gemini and Sagittarius energy means our thinking and communicating is still changing. It's not stagnant. It's going to consistently change. And this is transportation, this is relating, this is the local relating, right? And sibling energy, how you're able to relate with your siblings. Your long distance journeys, all that's changing and transforming all throughout for the rest of 2021. And the best advice for the rest of 2021 is to stay flexible in your thinking, stay flexible in your beliefs, because your beliefs are changing. All of our beliefs are changing. Our thoughts are changing. And the rest of this year is going to show us that. We're going to see that, and we're going to see why we have to stay flexible. So just keep all of that in mind. Remember, we're all going to be elevating together. This is all about the planet Earth elevating and evolving and becoming more than what we know it to be, more than what we thought it could ever be. But we each are needed to be a part of that, every single one of us. And so as we elevate, remember the sign of Aquarius, be open to the universe. Get those moments alone, those cellular moments. Get those moments of silence. Remember, your solutions are in the silence. Get time when you can just sit with yourself and hear the sounds of your soul. It will help you to elevate. You will get your solutions, right? Your cellular solutions. Remember, SOULULAR. Your cellular solutions are in the silence, and that is where your peace exists. Take that with you, and remember, listen to the silence. The time, now this is where I live, okay? So this is our Central Standard Time Zone, and it's at 1:06 p.m.